I miss somebody's, if I miss somebody's question, will you just kind of holler at me? That way I can address it while we're on that slide. So first of all, I'm very honored to be here and that you all would choose to spend your day listening to me when it's absolutely beautiful outside. So thank you all so much. I feel very blessed to be here. And for the presentation, I'm kind of going to start with some really basic things and then move into a little bit more difficult, I guess, techniques. But if you've had Miss Stephanie Howell's session, this should kind of build from there. So we'll start with, let me get my screen situated here so I can see everything. I've never done the 2-screen thing, so I'm learning just a little bit. All right. So the first thing, like I said, is a little bit basic, but if you don't know this, it can be a huge time saver. And having the appropriate image size for your creations is really important. So for an example, let's say you're creating a Twitter post, but for a Twitter post, you don't want something that's long and like a vertical image, because that's not going to show up very well on Twitter. And the same applies for all other social media platforms. They all have their own preferred image size, and none of them are the same. So it's almost impossible to remember what size those images need to be. So thankfully in Canva, they make it super simple. Can you all see the Canva homepage right now? We're good. Okay. So up here in this top search bar, you would just simply need to type what it is that you're wanting to create. So if it's a Twitter post, then you just simply type Twitter post, and that's going to give you the exact image size that you need for Twitter. So any one of these templates are the correct size. The same thing would apply for something like Facebook. You would do Facebook post, Instagram, right down to like Twitter profile, because sometimes you know how Twitter's got that little round box and it's hard to get your image to fit correctly, especially if it's like a logo. If you do Twitter profile, you're going to see all these little round images, and that's going to give you the correct size so that when you upload it, you're not cutting off parts of your image. Okay, the next one would be the magic commands. So Canva recently added a lot of artificial intelligence type I guess, tools to their program. And then the magic commands would be some of those tools. And this one is really basic, but it's very time saving. I know lots of times when you're on Canva, you automatically feel like you need to come over here and start searching for whatever you need. And that can get kind of crazy, because you have designs and you have elements and you have all these different things that you can pick from. But if you're on a slide or on any kind of document, if you just hit the / you get this little magic command box that pops up at the bottom. So this is the Canva assistant. And let's just say you know you need a pink and purple gradient. So you just type that here, and it's going to give you 3 options. And now those might not be the best options, but that's the quick way without going over here and going through all the different search tools. The same thing for like, if you just need a basic shape, like I need a square, just type in square or rectangle, and you can get all of those different tools or different images really quick. This also brings up Magic Design and Magic Write, and that's stuff we're going to look at later. But just don't forget about this little Canva assistant at the bottom. That's going to be a quick way to get to lots of different things without going over here and trying to go through the different tabs. Okay, the next one is Magic Shortcuts for presentations. I think all of your students will probably like this. So I am going to go into presentation mode to show this, because this is the only way that these commands will work. Okay. So when you're in Canva presentations, all you have to do is hit any of these letters or numbers on your keyboard to get different effects. So if you push B, you're going to get, your screen's going to blur. So maybe you have a question on your screen and you need to blur it momentarily. That will do that. You just push B to bring it back. C gets your confetti. A D for a drum roll. You have M for mic drop. You have O for floating bubbles. And then if you want to use, I bet Wendy might want to use this one sometime because she likes to quiet people. And then you have, oops, I didn't mean to hit it twice. The letter U for a curtain call. And then you push it again to open it up. And you probably can't hear the sound. Can you hear the sound? You can, okay. And then 0, if you use the number 0 through 9, you can create a timer. So if you're with your students and you're giving them a certain amount of time, you can just hit, if you're giving them 3 minutes, hit number 3, and you're going to get that 3-minute timer. And then I believe it goes down to, if you hit 0, you get actually 3 seconds. And the little thing drops down so you can tell that the time is passing. And those just work in presentation mode. Okay. The next one is also a new tool, and it's not perfect yet, but it's AI design. So it's text to image. So you type what you want Canva to create for you. So this is the image that I got when I typed in sunshine over purple ocean with palm trees. So it's a very unique image, not something you're going to find in their clip art selection. And the way that you get to this on my screen, it's already over here because I use it. But if it's not in your options, you're going to go to apps and more from Canva, and it's going to be in this area. But I've already used it, so it's down here on my toolbar. So you can see earlier I was just playing with it, and I typed in cow standing in the ocean with a hat. I did get the cow in the ocean, but with no hat. But you can type in anything. Somebody give me something that you want to see. Let's see. Any ideas?
Teachers leaving school on the last day.
The last time I tried with people, their faces didn't look real great, but we'll see what we get. So we did get some people, but they look maybe like they're leaving the nursing home instead of school. I'm not sure. But you can keep trying. Let's do what's something? A horse running through the rainforest. I always think about animals for some reason, and it is kind of slow sometimes, so you have to give it a bit to think. So just all kinds of different ways you can play with that. That's just something that we have a lot of time. You can come up with your own images. And on this presentation, which somebody asked, I think if you're going to get a copy, yes, I'll make sure you have a copy in your Wakelet. But anytime on this presentation that you see this little button at the bottom, that's Canva's step-by-step directions on how to do it. So if you forget or you don't watch the recording and you're just looking at the presentation, you can click that and see the step-by-step directions. The next one is something I think that you're really going to love because you can use this on something like Wendy mentioned certificates, and I think this would be great for certificates. So you probably already have your students' names typed somewhere in a list like this. Can you all see a demo name spreadsheet? Okay, so we're just going to use this demo spreadsheet for something like creating a group of certificates. So let's go back to our sheet. And what you're going to do is you're just going to have your students' names typed in the list, just like you want them to appear on whatever document you're creating. And you're going to save it as a CSV file. So you'll go to File and Download and do CSV. And once that downloads, you'll go back to Canva. And let's just say that you want to do a student certificate. So let's look for a student certificate. Of course, you could create your own, but for the sake of time, we'll use a template. And let's just say we're going to use this one. Now, before I knew about bulk create, what I would have done is just made multiple duplications and typed the names every different time, each time for every student in my class. But there's a much easier way to do that. So once you have your design made, you're going to use this bulk create option. So this is the same as with text to image. If you've used it, it's going to be in your toolbar, but if not, you're going to find it under apps, and it'll be from Canva. But we'll use bulk create, and it's going to ask if we want to enter our data manually, which you could do. You could type it in here. I just think that it's easier from Google Sheets. So we'll upload our CSV file, and we'll find our demo names, which was what I named the file. Click open, and you'll see it appear over here on this left part of your screen. So we'll come to the part of the screen where you want all your students' name to be, and just right click on that portion and do connect data. And you'll see the data right here. You'll click there. If everything looks the way that you want it, which for this, it'll be fine. And we'll come down here and click continue. And it'll ask you, which students do you want to include? We want all of our students. So we'll select all, and it will generate the certificate for every student. And you don't have to type in all of the names individually. But just a little time saver. Any questions about that part? I know that was a lot of steps.
Where did you originally have the names typed first?
In the Google Sheet,
Okay.
just like right in this Google Sheet.
Okay.
But you can type them directly in Canva. I just feel like you probably already have a Google Sheet with students' names or something like that typed in. But you can do the manual option if you don't
Yeah.
already have them in the list.
I didn't know it would do that.
Sorry.
Okay, somebody else have a question?
Well, no, I was just saying this time of year when we're generating certificates for our kids, what a great time saver.
Yes, it's a lot like I used to use mail merge this time of year to make every certificate imaginable, and it was always a time saver. So it's just like an upgraded mail merge. Any other questions about the bulk create? There's so many ways you can use this, and we'll look at an even neater way we're going to use this later. So the next one is secret fonts, and these are they're not really secret, they're just hidden somewhere else in Canva. So in Canva, if you go to elements, one way that you can find them is by typing in typography, and it will show you all kinds of different letter styles, or usually it does. Graphics, there we go. So different types of typography. And I think I jumped ahead a little bit, but keep that in mind for a little bit later slide. But there's our secret fonts within these elements. So I gave you a few examples, and the way that you would find these would be by just doing a Google search. So one of my favorite is this one. So let's look at this one. And that's this font right here. These cool different letters. All of these fonts here came from the elements tab. You can also search by letter. So if you want to look for a neat J, just type in a J, and there's all kinds of fancy J's. And let's say you find the J that you just love, and you thought, well, I want to spell my whole name. So how am I going to find the other letters? Well, you can click on these three little dots and do see more like this, and it will bring up the entire font so that you can find all of the letters for that type style that you looked for. But these are just a few examples. You can do a Google search, and there are literally hundreds, if not thousands, of different hidden fonts that you can use. Brand codes are something else that if you just do a Google search for Canva brand codes, there's hundreds of them. I just picked a few random ones, and you're going to use this code in the elements search bar too. So we'll look at this first one and see what that one is. And brand codes just help you find cohesive graphics. Like, lots of times you'll start adding graphics, but you're like, well, I can't find anything that matches this. This just kind of pulls the packs together so that you can find all the graphics that go together. Like these are all kind of natural looking type elements. You can find a lot of TikTok people that advertise these different brand codes too. That's more of a clip art type elements. The same with those, but there are hundreds of brand codes too. I found this one earlier. I thought that it was really neat. This is more of a backgrounds, different types of backgrounds that you can add over your images, or use as I like to use those types of things as textures in the background. But these are just a few random ones that I picked. There's plenty to look at. So keywords are another thing in Canva that's really important. The way you type something in is going to determine how you get what you want to appear in your elements. So we already talked about typography, and you saw all the different ways that Canva offers you different sayings with different fonts. So something like that. One that I use a lot is texture. Like I almost cannot stand to make something that doesn't have a texture. I don't know why. But all kinds of different textures to choose from. I do look up if I'm doing like a t-shirt. I like to use the grunge filters on top of my t-shirts. But again, just do a Google search for Canva keywords and you'll get tons of different things to look up. Magic Write is what I had mentioned earlier. So you can use Magic Write with Bulk Create to make like mass social media posts. So let's just say that you want to do 5 posts for, let's say, encouragement for middle school students. So how you can do this is you can do Magic Write anywhere. We could do it right here in this slide if we wanted to, but to keep it a little bit cleaner, we'll go out to Google, not Google, but Canva has a Canva Docs. So we're going to go to a Canva Doc. And you click this little plus sign to get your Magic Write. This is a little bit like Chat GPT, so you need to be really specific. So you can, let's say, write 5 encouraging phrases for middle school students. So that gives you 5 different phrases. We're going to copy these. And let's create a new spreadsheet. And a trick for that is to do sheets.new. And we'll paste that in this spreadsheet. And we'll do the same as we did with those names earlier and export them as a CSV file or download as a CSV file. So we've got that downloaded. And let's say you're going to create, you want a Twitter post. So let's type in a quote Twitter post. Let's find one that we like. I'll just pick this one. We'll customize. And I would suggest first kind of designing this the way that you want it to look. So my shift key is not working. I'm sorry. Let's say that you're going to put your name at the bottom and maybe you want to add your school mascot. My son's a roundstone eagle, so I'm going to use an eagle. Now the fun part comes when you can connect your quotes to this image and not have to create them individually. So we'll do the same thing with the Bulk Create. Upload CSV and go to our spreadsheet. You can see it appears over here on the left. Go to our quote box and do connect data. And click our data and then do continue. We want to do all the quotes or all the phrases and generate 4 pages. So now you have something to post for 4 days on your social media. Are there any questions I've missed?
I have a question.
Okay.
So to post it then, this is how I do it, and I don't know if it's right. Do you just like screenshot it and then post it or from your phone, or is there like a better way?
You would go to the share button and you would go to download and then you would tell it that you want, usually ask how many pages. Why is it not doing that today? So usually ask if you want to download all 5 pages and you would say yes, but you should download it from, it's because I'm looking at that original one. Now I see, there we go. So share and download and you'll see your 4 pages here and you would make sure that they're all checked and it would download all 4 of those to your to your computer, and then you could post them from there. I don't suggest using screenshots, and that's actually something we'll talk about later too. Does that help?
And I really
Okay,
need
thanks.
to listen. And I really need to listen to that too, because when she makes these beautiful designs, sometimes I'm guilty of that and she'll fuss at me.
It's just easy, so I understand. Okay. Any question about bulk create in that process? I know it's kind of a process, but once you get used to it, it's super quick. Okay, so the next one is Magic Edit, which is also pretty new. So it's not perfect, but it does pretty good most of the times that I've tried it. So let's just say we have this image of these red carnations and it really doesn't match my presentation and I want them to be purple and pink. Obviously, I know I could come over here and search for those, but for demonstration purposes, we'll use this. So we have these red carnations and we can go to Magic Edit and let's just brush over the parts of the image that we don't want. We don't want these red flowers. It doesn't have to be perfect either. It does a pretty good job selecting for you, and then do continue and type what you do want. So I want pink and purple flowers to match my presentation. And it can be really slow, so you might have time to get coffee. So it does give us 4 different options, and they're actually not too bad. So I'll go with these pink flowers. So that's Magic Edit. I've got another example. Let's say you have a picture of yourself and maybe you just all of a sudden you need a headshot, but maybe your picture you have of yourself is not the greatest. So we can use Magic Edit the same way. So let's click on the picture and do Edit Photo and go back to Magic Edit. And that's not correct, obviously. Try it again. Let's try to refresh. Okay. So let's say instead of this shirt, we want, and it's probably faster if I use a bigger brush. We want a little more professional shirt.
Will this work for wrinkles? I'm asking for a friend.
Possibly, I haven't tried that. We'll do
I'm the friend. I'm the friend.
So let's say professional floral shirt. Patiently wait. Lynn, I think these may be part of the pro version, but I believe teachers can get the pro version for free. So you can have the full version for no cost. I worried, oh, there we go. So it changed her shirt and it gives us a few options to pick from. So I'll go with that one. And then this background isn't bad, but let's pretend like we want to change the background. Because let's face it, a lot of us have our picture in our car and we need something a little better. So we would just highlight the whole background. Maybe we want it to look like she is in an art classroom. I think Canva is running off the same Verizon tower that my phone's on today. So you put her in a classroom. That looks really good. So just some ways that you can use the Magic Edit. Okay. So in this one, we'll look at how you can change just parts of an image. So you have this picture of this girl in front of this blue background, but what if you wanted that background to be purple or some other color? So if you go to edit photo and go to adjustments, you'll see this part right here where it says whole image. You can select the foreground or the background. So if we choose background, this is where you can change the color. So let's go with and play with this temperature slider, the tint, all these different options to change the background. You can do the same thing for the foreground, which would be her. You need to brighten her up if she was dark, or if she was too bright, you could increase your contrast. But that's just how you can edit portions of an image instead of all of the image at one time. So flip booklets, I actually didn't know that you can make those in Canva until just recently. You all know that we have those directories and we use Hazing to make those. And I actually made those in Adobe InDesign, but you could make something similar with Canva. I believe there's a page limit. I think it's 10, but I'm not 100% sure, but I think it is 10. So it's not very complicated. Let's just say if we wanted to make this presentation a booklet, you just go to share, and then you'll click more. There's actually two options. It's under the design section. You can do simple booklet or hazing flip books, and that's the one I'm most familiar with. So you just click on that. Yes, it is 10 pages. So it's a 10-page limit. And then do save. And it'll take it a little bit of time. I believe the simple booklet didn't have as many, like it only gave you the option to have one free book. Like if you wanted to create your own ebooks or something like that, then that would be the perfect way to use Canva to make your ebook and then export it to Hazing. So do view in Hazing flipbooks. And then we'll do, you just click through it just like a book. And obviously this presentation setup is not the best for a book, but you could set up all of that when you first make your book to be exactly how you need it to be. And there's plenty of ebook templates on Canva, so don't ever think that you have to start from scratch. You could just use one of their templates and make it your own. All right, let's see. So the next part we'll look at is more of design hacks and different ways you can make your images appear in ways you didn't probably think you could do it in Canva, because typically it would have been something you would have done in Photoshop or Illustrator, but it's just different layering techniques that make things appear different. So this first one is what we call kind of like an image sandwich. And if you move this hand back and forth, you can see, well, if I can grab it, let's see, there we go. You can see that it's kind of like it's between the image. And the way you create this effect is by 3 different layers. You have this layer that's hollow and this layer that's solid. And then this layer is between the two. So you would just create text that's solid like this. And the important part is that your other layer is exactly the same size. So let's make a copy. And put it right on top. Make sure it's exactly the same space, effects, and hollow. We'll make that not quite so thick. And then we'll pull our image between the two. Now, if this was to be on the front, you could just do layer and send backward. Canva also has added a layers palette. You can also go to show layers and you can see every layer in this particular page. So you can move things freely to the top or to the back. And this is the same concept except with a video. Who knew that you could take the background off of a video? I did not know that till recently. So this little dog appears to be running between the text. And it's the same concept as with the other image, except it's a video. So let's look at a video as an example. What do you guys want a video of? Needs to have motion. Let's try this. Waves. Let me say waves. I don't know if we could get waves to work or not because it wouldn't have a background behind it that we could isolate. Let's. So let's pretend we want her to appear as if she's running between text. So we'll have to edit the video. And this is the same as with images. You can use the background remover and it will isolate just her. This probably isn't the best video, but it will work. So we'll send her to the back for now. And we'll do the same thing and make a copy of this text. And make it hollow. And bring her back to the middle. And when she's moving, it appears that she's moving between the text. So it's really just layers. It's kind of a sandwich. You have your hollow, your image, and then your solid. It's the same concept with this. So you just have to think about different ways you could use this for your situation, whatever it might be in your classroom, something you're advertising. So gradients are also new. Prior to just like maybe a couple of months ago, you had to use what gradients showed up in the elements tab. So you could search for gradients and there are tons to choose from. But now you can create your own. And the way that you do that is by using the basic shapes. So let's say you need let's just do a square. And you want to have a gradient for entire background. And you go to the colors. And it's kind of tricky to find. So you have to click on it, click on the color, and then click on the colors that you're going to use and click those little tabs. And then you see gradient. So it's kind of hidden. And then you can click all the colors that you want in your gradient. So if you can just keep adding them as many as you want. So pink. You can do that on any shape. So it need to be a shape. So the circle, the square, any of these could all have a gradient applied. And then the next one is kind of this little guy sticking up through the lettering. And the way that you create this is also just some different layering techniques. So let's say you have a word, you're going to put one layer of the image behind in the back, and then you'll take the same image and just crop off the part that you want hidden. And I somehow messed it up. There we go. You want the part that's hidden to be right in that inner circle part. But this is just multiple layers, a cropped layer and a layer in the back. And then this is what I was talking about with screenshots. So if you want to maintain your image quality, especially if you're using like Canva on your phone, it is so tempting to just take a screenshot because it's easy and you can crop it down and forget it. But the best way is to use the little download button that's right up here at the top, and you want to save it to your images. Otherwise, you can lose like some of the quality depending on your phone and the size of the image when you took the screenshot. So that's just a little tip from me. Like, it was always a pet peeve when I used to do a lot of like design work for businesses, and I would make them a logo and they would post it on Facebook and say, "Thank you for making my logo." And it'd be this terrible screenshot. And I'd be like, "Why did you do that to me?" So please don't do screenshots. Try to always use the main image. And that actually covers what I have, but I'm open for like questions that you all have about all of these different tools. And I'll also ask if anybody's heard about Microsoft Designer, which is kind of Canva's, I guess, rival for, not Canva, but Microsoft's rival to Canva. We can look at that if you guys want to, because it's still pretty new. So it isn't overly. Okay. Jackie says, let's do it. So you have to get on the wait list, or at least that's how it was. The only reason I got in there is because I have an old Hotmail account and they gave me, they let me in early. So if you want to try it out, you might want to get on their wait list. So it's more of the same concept with artificial intelligence. You just tell it what you want and try to be really specific. So you might say, create a Facebook post for teacher appreciation celebration in the gym on Friday, May 12, 2023. I've not played with this a ton, so I can't know for sure if it's going to get it all, but we'll see. So if you don't want to, if you hate designing stuff and you just need something really quick, this might be your best option for that. Not bad. Let's see. So you can customize it. So it didn't put all the stuff that I wanted in there, but it's still a good start. But again, that's Microsoft Designer. All right. Any questions you guys have?
Hey, Jamie, you got some questions in the chat there from
Okay.
a couple people.
Okay, so if you need to make something a specific size, on the Canva homepage, you go to create a design and then go to custom size. And then if your width is 100 and it's 400, I'm assuming pixels, right? And then just do create new design. And it might have been 400 by 100. But that's where the custom size options are, is in create a design and then custom size. Let's see.
And then Jamie, we had another question about, can you use any video? And I think that was the one, Lynn, correct me if I'm wrong, the one where we were using like the wave and all of that. Can you use any video when you're doing?
You could, like, especially if you plan to do that, I would use a video where you have a solid background. That way you can isolate the video from whatever you're wanting to cut out. But yeah, you can definitely use your own video.
And Des said, can I do that with something that I already had created? Like if she's already got something in Canva, can she go back and morph those dimensions?
Yes. Yeah, and if you already have anything created, resizing is really simple. So let's look at something. Let's just say we did a Twitter post. So maybe you made a Twitter post. Let's find something. Let's say you made this for Twitter and then later you need it for something else and you want to resize it. You just go to resize and you can type in, let's just say you were going to Facebook. You could type in Facebook post and you could do that and do copy and resize. That way you keep your original, or you can resize the actual one that you're on and not keep the original. You could also put in your own specific dimensions if you know those. That's one of my favorite things though, is the way that you can resize. You don't have to worry about redoing the whole design. And it does a pretty good job. You wouldn't have to make many changes to that. Any other questions? For the longest time, like I really didn't want to admit that I like Canva because I'd always been in this Adobe world where I felt like that was the only thing. If you were a professional, you had to use Adobe, and now I just realized that's just not true. You just use whatever works the best for you. So whether it's Canva or Adobe products or Adobe Express, whatever it is, whatever works best for you is what you need to use, especially if it's free for educators.
Jamie, you do have 2 other questions. What's the best way to find brand codes? And can you go over the bulk create again for the names, the steps again?
Yes. So brand codes, I just, you can just do a Google search for the brand codes, especially on TikTok. There's lots of TikTokers that make the brand code. So if you start looking at that stuff, obviously more of it comes up in your feed. So, but there's a ton of them out there. So bulk create. So you would need to have your students or whoever, their names in a list. So just like a Google sheet, it could also be an Excel document, just anything that you can export it as a CSV file. So once you have the names, decide what you're going to create. You could do name badges. Well, let's go with this one. So you go to the bulk create option, and if it's not on your toolbar, it's going to be under apps and it'll be under more from Canva. Upload a CSV file. Find your CSV file that you downloaded. Click open. Make sure it appears over on the left. Then go to where you need the names to be. Right click, connect data, choose your file. And then do continue at the bottom left. You want to do all your students, do select all and then generate. And it'll create one for each student. Once you do that a few times, it's not as much of a process as it seems like all the steps right now. Any other questions?
Will that save your file, like your student list? Will it save it in Canva after you make it?
I don't think so. I had that same thought, but I've not found anywhere in Canva that I can find that file again. You would have to upload it every time.
Does the Canva Docs, does it save it there? Like, you know how you went to Canva Docs? I was just curious if that was kind of like a Google Doc.
I don't think it does.
No. Awesome. Well, you were getting lots of love in the chat. And just so you all know, I did go ahead and post the session evaluation. Kathy, did you make the choose a name with this on Saturday? Kathy, you'll have to tell me what you mean there. Tell me about your question. Okay, so while Kathy's unmuting and telling me what she means. Okay, so if you have any other questions about this for Jamie, please. Oh, the prize drawing.
You know, when you were doing the wheel, looked like
Oh,
a
yeah.
Wheel of Fortune. I called you Vanna White. What she used to make that? I wrote it down somewhere. I just wanted a refresher. I don't think it was off Canva, but did you use Canva in it?
I didn't. It's just Wheel of Names. Wheel of
Yes.
Names.
Wheel of Names. Okay.
Wheel of Names. Yes.
Because
And
that was also very cool. And I like this Canva
Yes.
thing. I wish I'd had this before I did my certificates.
And that is on one of those emails too that I sent. Remember Flippity? If you all are not using Flippity, make sure that you try out Flippity. That's one of those fun things. And Wheel of Names is on that too. So you make sure you all are utilizing all those fun little engagement. But Wheel of Names is super fun.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was really cool. That was a fun way to do that on Saturday. So for those of you that thank you, Kathy, for that reminder. Wheel of Names, fun little engaging way to instead of drawing names out of a cup or whatever. We had fun with that on Saturdays in person learning. Fantastic session, lots of cool things. I will admit, Jackie had a fun little comment. Chris Angel, David Blaine, whoever the magician guy is, it was feeling a little bit like a magic session there for a little while. That really cool session, Jamie. And we knew it would be. Fill out I know there's so many people saying, can't wait to try this out. Super awesome. Jamie did link the presentation if you all want to go ahead and snag that, but she is so, you all don't know all the awesome things. Jackie and I brag on her all the time. That's our running joke is, Jamie this, Jamie that. It's a little bit like Marsha on the Brady Bunch. But you all don't know all the things that she does for us behind the scenes. She's always so diligent about putting things in the Wakelet for us. One, because I don't really know how to do it all. You all have seen how quick and easy she made all this look like it was just awesome. But she's probably already put that in your Wakelet for you online. But if you want to go ahead and have a copy of the presentation, go ahead and make sure you fill out your evaluations. We can't wait to see how beautiful your tweets are going to be and how you're going to use this with your students in your classroom, because it's going to be awesome. If you do some really fancy things, certificates, or you do parent communications, we can't wait to see it, because again, that's one of those ways that we can show you all are really using what we and how we screenshot them. Yeah, I'm gonna try to be better and really download them, because like Jamie said, she's like, yeah, I do all this and then you just screenshot it and it makes it not look as good. So I'm gonna be better about that, not do that for her. And then for those of you that logged on a little right at time, you may not have heard, I was getting some questions. I tried to answer everyone back. If you are coming to summer conference, that $300 is in addition to your daily rate. So you get $120 to come into conference. You get the $300 for your travel stipend. And that is for any in-person learning. So if you came, you saw myself, Dr. Evans, Jamie, Jackie in person, you were able to actually physically reach out and touch us. That is considered an in-person learning day. You only have to have 30 hours. So if you've not been with us in person, you still have plenty of time, because the summer conference is 30 hours. So we wanted to give you all plenty of opportunity to earn that that $300 travel stipend. You can come to all summer conference, you can earn that. And then Gabby reminded me that there's some of you that have went above and beyond. Remember, to stay active in the grant, you only have to have 40 hours. That's all that's like, that's part of your contract, is just saying, hey, I'll get 40 hours professional learning. Last year was the first year that we had people who had in excess of over 100 hours professional learning. We had never had that any. And so we got to talking, and we were like, what do we do with these, rock stars, these people that have went above and beyond, like doubled what they should have had. So we decided that we were going to pay you all just an additional on top of for people that went above and beyond. And so we were trying to think of what we could do. Of course, you all like money. So we added on an additional stipend for people that were doing above and beyond. That's not spelled out anywhere. That's not in your contract anywhere. So for people that are doing above and beyond hours, we did just throw in an additional stipend. So if you have over 100 hours, we were going to give you an additional $100 stipend at the end. That's not put anywhere. You don't have to fill that in. You don't have to put that anywhere on your contract. Gabby will take care of all that for you on the end, because again, Gabby's awesome too. So we love you all here, and Jamie is awesome. Gabby's awesome. The question is, the performance sheet does show how many hours you've done. Absolutely. So if you check that performance sheet, and one thing that I will remind you, performance sheet, check that for me. And then if you find anything that you say, hey, I was at that session and it's not marked, it's probably because we don't have an evaluation for you. That's why we keep saying, make sure you fill out those evaluation forms. So make sure that's how we check it, is through the performance sheet. So make sure you fill out the evaluation for every session. That's how Gabby checks that for us. So get on there, check that performance sheet. And then, oh, thank you so much, Debbie. I appreciate that. Master class will be added. What I'm going to do is I'm getting ready to, I'm glad you all asked. Master class is getting ready to switch out. So thank you, Brittany, for that. Probably the best way, we've been trying to think about how to do master class. Brittany, and for all of those that had master class at the end, if you all will get on your master class account, and if you will just screenshot it, because Gabby and I, that's a conversation that we had. So if you had master class this first rotation, you may get on your master class account, just screenshot that. That's one thing you can screenshot. And I'll put this in your, like in your notes, and then you will know how many hours, how much time you've watched. And that way, that's just probably gonna be the easiest thing. I know, Brittany, you and I had this conversation. You can get on there and you can see how much login time or screen time you've had on masterclass, because that's what we're going to do for each person. Like, you can kind of validate your own hours. I will
Is
add
that
that
coming
to,
out again, Wendy, then? Because I haven't
Yes.
gotten mine yet, but
Yes.
that's because I'm in the next batch, yes?
you're in the next batch. I'm getting ready to
Okay.
start those. Yep. So the next batch of masterclass will start like now, but I need everybody that's had access to it now. You'll get on there and you'll just screenshot, hey, this is what just your total hours or total minutes that you've watched. So yeah, Jackie's known as the Incredible One. If you still want access to masterclass, just send me an email. I can go ahead and get you started. So everybody can have access to masterclass. It's not too late. So
I was in one of the earlier batches, but I didn't get really to I only got to access one or two things. Can I be added
you
again?
can
or did
still
that
be
burn?
added again. Yep, absolutely. It's never too late. Y'all should know that by now. It's never too late with the screen. You've got plenty of time. So, but Leah, what you may want to do is you may want to go ahead and screenshot the time that you have had thus far. That way it can be counted. You know, I don't want you to miss anything that you have watched.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. And if you all have any other, the app is different or updated tonight. Oh, Brandy, I'll check on that. Morgan, masterclass. Yes, let me explain it real quick. Masterclass is like this really cool, you can get on your phone. I've got it on my phone. If I can't fall asleep, and you know, my husband's got a really bad snoring problem, I watch it on my phone at night. And it's amazing. Like, George W. Bush has these really great leadership podcast, or it's not podcast. You can watch them on video. You can just listen to it. I've been putting them in my ears and listening to like the podcast version. But there's some really great, Brittany, Brandy, what's some of your all's favorite ones that you all have been listening to? There's cooking ones. There are leadership. There's storytelling. LeVar Burton telling storytelling has probably been one of my favorites thus far.
Yes, I like
Gordon
LeVar
Ramsay.
Burton the best. Yeah.
LeVar Burton's probably been my favorite. He tells about how he got his start. Probably one of my favorite. Gordon Ramsay. I've not watched that one. Oh, I'll have to watch Gordon Ramsay. But
I
you
like
get
Bill
to,
Nye too.
oh, Kris Jenner. I started hers. I've not finished. There's a lady that's got her start with Peloton. I can't think of her name. Absolutely incredible, because she just got her start, and she wasn't like a fitness guru. She was actually a lawyer. And she got her start in fitness world, quit being a lawyer. Incredible story. And it's kind of growing your craft, what you're interested in. So we thought we bring you really great speakers that we can get access to, but I can't get you access to former presidents, but I can get you access through masterclass. And so it's another way that we get to grow your craft, that you get to build leadership skills, that you get to build storytelling skills. So, resilience. Oh, I love it. You get paid. Yes. So it's just like a recorded session. You get paid $10 an hour. And that's why I'm letting you all kind of send us a screenshot of how long you've watched. You can be added to the masterclass list. So just send me an email if you want to be added, and that's all on masterclass.
Okay, I have another question on masterclass. I totally like blonde moment on all of that you just said. I thought we were supposed to pick our master classes and do them this summer. But now I
You
realize
can.
I have had access to master class the whole time. And I'm like, wait, I've been supposed to be, I could do that now.
You can do, yeah. And some people chose their months. I gave you an option of 3 months. So you can just let me know if you all want. It does not, Tracy, it doesn't have to be just the educational ones. That's what's great. We're honing in on your yeah, you get to choose. Of course you can't, like I like to watch some of the cooking ones as well, but I did throw in some history ones. So, and some leadership ones. What's been really great, and I told Dr. Evans this, and I won't keep you all too much longer, but what's been really great is the SEL, the leadership. Those are the ones that's kind of leading the pack on what you all have enjoyed watching. So it's been pretty cool watching what you're watching and what you're interested in. So that will kind of help me know too what you're interested in for next year as we plan programming for next year. So pretty cool. If you all need anything, I am super excited. Yeah, you can watch the other things too. So yeah, enjoy it. That's a perk of being in KDC Grants is we're here for anything you all need. So enjoy. You got all access. And if you all need anything else, we're here. I will be sending out lots of information about trips, about summer conference. So I know I've bombarded you all with emails. I apologize, but there's just been so much to get out to you. So thanks you all. We think you all are great. So thank you all.
We have a question.
Yes.
I'm registered for the summer, but I didn't know if I got the